Hey Tires, Darren here again with another fly pattern. Today we're going to be tying a small emerger pattern called the SS Shuttlecock. This is a fly developed by Ontario fly tyer Sheldon Seale. It's a nice little emerger pattern. We're going to be tying this in a number 10 today just to make it a little bit easier to see on the screen, but I normally tie this in size 12 to 16. Alright, let's get started. Alright, let's get a fresh hook in the vise. I'm going to be tying this pattern in two parts. So first I put a Mustad signature C49S hook. It's a size 10. I'm going to start off with 210 Denier flat waxed nylon. And I'm going to use this to build the thorax. I'm just going to wind down to where I think the back of the body should be, just into the hook bend quite a fair bit. And I'm going to come into this point where I started tying. I want to leave the shank bare here because I'm going to tie my thorax and my wing up here. So I'm just going to come back down, not to the end. I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way down, and then I'm going to wind my thread back up. As you can see, I'm starting to build a little bit of a taper. I'll go down again about halfway. If you want, in between, you can spin your thread to flatten it a little bit more so that your thread sits a little nicer. And we'll do one more there. So then what I'll do is just if you like, you can put a coat of head cement. And we'll just do that. We'll put a little bit of hard as nails on there just to give that body some durability. Because we're not using any ribbing on this fly or anything like that. Alright, I think that's enough time. Looks like this is dried off. So now I'm going to switch over to a 6/0 black thread. I'm just going to tie that in right at the eye. Trim off that excess. I'm going to take a little bit of, this is a medium done snowshoe rabbit foot. It's a hairline. So these can be a little bit tricky to start off, but as long as you can kind of spread the foot pad apart, you can get down. And what I like to do is grab a little chunk of hair that I want to tie with and give it a couple turns. Kind of isolates the hair, then snip it off. You're going to want to pull out any of the under fur. And what I like to do is I just like to match the wing up about the length of the body. And I'll snip off any that's forward, and we'll tie that down right here. Alright. Next, we're going to take a peacock eye, and I like to use it right off the stem. Find you get a better product than using the strung peacock. So I'm going to take 3 herls, and you can either trim off the butts and tie them in at the butt, or you can tie them in, trim the tips off and tie them in at the tip. So I find you get a bit better strength tying in the butts, but better color if you tie that in by the tips. So we're just going to do a couple wraps. And we'll tie those off. You want to just make sure that you leave yourself enough room to tie down that wing, not crowd your eye. Trim off the tips of the peacock. And now we're just going to pull the snowshoe hair forward. And we're going to, while we have this grasp, we're just going to do a couple wraps loose and then pull. Okay, and then pull back the eye, or pull back the wing, and put a couple wraps right in underneath there. And we're just going to add a quick whip finish. And there you go. That's the SS Shuttlecock. You might want to dress this with a little bit of floatant like gink, just because in my experience haven't found snowshoe to float as well as advertised, so adding a little bit of floatant in there really helps keep it on top of the water. Thanks for watching my fly tying videos. If you enjoy the flies, why not give us a like? If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to get all the latest fly tying tutorials. If you have a fly that you'd like to see tied here, post it in the comments below and we'll do our best to tie it in a future episode. I hope you join us next time, but until then, keep a hook in your vise.